I think David is such a compelling figure because of his passion for learning and his interest in so many different subjects. He was obviously a really intelligent child and quite advanced for his age. He enjoyed reading and sketching, and his favourite books were Aesop's Fables and Pilgrim's Progress. And it's said that he even helped older boys with their schoolwork. So obviously really intelligent. He left school at the age of 15, and even then he continued to teach himself in his spare time, so in a range of different subjects, such as geography, literature, maths, history and science. And he was even doing experiments at home, using his mum's teacups and wine glasses as apparatus. And it was this intelligence that enabled him to advance his career. So through his contacts, he was able to get a job at the Pneumatic Institute in Bristol, where he met and became friends with the poets Robert Southey and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And then he moved on to the Royal Institute in London. And there his lectures were really popular. They were attended by the aristocracy, and he sort of started moving in those circles. So he went from really humble beginnings in Cornwall, and through his intelligence was able to start moving in those circles in London. So it's quite an unusual story, I think. Yeah, I think it shines a spotlight on William Clanny and George Stephenson. So William Clanny was a doctor in Sunderland, and I think he's one that particularly falls under the radar because he actually invented a lamp first. It was actually his idea to invent a safe lamp to use underground, so he invented his lamp in 1812. And Davy even borrowed the lamp to look at when he was doing his own experiments. And then Stephenson had actually tested 2 lamps before Davy published his final design. And the problem with Stephenson's lamp was it worked on the same principles as Davy's, so nobody really knew who had discovered that principle first.
So we've got a large selection of lamps in the display, but there's 2 or 3 that really sort of jump out at me in terms of my fondness for them as part of the collection. The first is this John Mills Guy Patent lamp. Now, it was made by a company called John Mills and Son, who were based in Newcastle. And the odd thing about it is this very curved bonnet. Very different from a lot of other lamps that were being made at the time. And it was made from a single piece of steel, and the design of it really sort of appeals to me, and it was one of the first lamps that I looked at when I came to the museum. Another lamp maker that was fairly prolific in their time was James Laidler and Son, and we've got an example of their Clanny lamp there. Laidler were a very good manufacturer of flame-safe lamps. They had a very strong design ethic and made lamps that looked very nice. It was a company that was set up in about 1860, and they started off as a plumbing merchant and metalworking, and they also made flame safety lamps for local collieries. I think they carried on making lamps up into about the 1930s. Here we have an example of a Clanny, and they have a very distinct stamp on the top of the lamp to show their maker's mark. There's a great deal of development that took place during the evolution of the lamps, and they were particularly in the late 19th, early 20th century. And they were experimenting with different elements of the lamp, the bonnet, the gauze, but also the glass. And one innovation that they came up with this lamp here, which was made by Davis of Derby. And the glass itself was made with particles of uranium that were put in it. So it would potentially glow in the dark. Now if I just shine what is a black light on the lamp, you can see that the lamp is starting to glow green. And if we can go into total darkness, you can really see the colour of the lamp come out. So in theory, if the lamp was taken into complete darkness, the idea was that the glass itself would glow and be able to lead the miners out. Although unfortunately the amount of light that sort of glass gives off is very limited. And as you can see, no other examples have the same properties.
We've tried to make this exhibition suitable for people of all ages by layering the learning. So people can come in, they might not have that much time, so they can maybe go around and read some of the clippets, which are the fascinating facts, and still get an element of the story. Also, we've done it where younger generations can come in and work with Davy himself. We're not just preaching to people and saying like, this is what Davy did. They're actually discovering this for themselves through investigation and using the same skills as a scientist, such as problem solving, to come up with a solution to the dangerous gases that were produced underground. There's also, if you want to find out more, things like quotes, pictures, and then in-depth case studies that people can really sort of read into if they are wanting to find out more, the more little nitty-gritty details of the story as well, coupled with the artefacts that are in this exhibition. And this is really the only place in the museum now where we're showcasing these iconic flame safety lamps. So in this exhibition, one of the great parts of it is that visitors can come in and they can work with a scientist, so Sir Humphrey Davy, to solve a scientific problem. So we hope people will come in and see that they've got some of the qualities that is needed to become a scientist to solve problems in our world today. So when I've spoken to younger generations are saying things like we need to solve world hunger, global warming, advancements in medicines. So we really hope that young people can come in and see themselves as scientists and potentially solve some of those problems that are happening in the world today.